What is up, boyos? It is Water Buffalo Man here, and we're back for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle. Alright, so we do have it officially announced on the DBZ Dokkan battle Twitter. We are getting TURLES next. So, with that being said, I'm going to dive into something I really don't do often. A should you summon for TURLES. And I'll be straight up with you right here to start out. If you're a free-to-play player or someone who really has no interest in TURLES necessarily, I'm going to tell you right now, no. Don't waste your stones. Even if there's discounts, if you have no interest in getting this unit or really don't even, and you're free-to-play and you don't even just care at all, don't waste your stones. One bit, if you're free-to-play, don't even waste it. But if you are a player that actually has some interest, this banner is actually decent and you're kind of like a medium dolphin to a whale. Yeah, for collection purposes, you could go in. So the banner is introducing 3 new units. We have the TURLES and the 2 little gang of buddies, which I'll go over in a little bit. I can't think of the names right now. We also have the return of Yamcha, Bardock, as well as the EZA TURLES and the STR Bojack, which he is the only one on this banner that is absolutely worthless. So he's good, this TURLES. He links perfect with himself. And then there's these 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 really good units out of the 7 featured SSRs on this banner, barring they don't change anything. But let's just jump right into the TURLES itself. So the TURLES himself is a Space Traveling Warriors or Pure Saiyans Key 3 $170 stats, plus an additional HP attack and defense of 30% for characters who also belong to the Planetary Destruction or Low Class Warrior category. So pretty much Goku, Bardock, Raditz, and TURLES for the Low Class Warrior. But mainly, Space Traveling Warriors is a really good lead on, but you're not necessarily looking for him to lead his own category because Space Traveling Warriors isn't that great of a team. I mean, it is, but it isn't, because you could just throw him on a Terrifying Conquerors or movie bosses or things of that nature. So his leader skill is pretty good, but I wouldn't necessarily run him on that. Well, maybe it depends. It just depends on what kind of roster you have, more or less. His super attack is Meteor Burst, raises attack for infinitely, so 30% for 99 turns, and he causes immense damage and recovers 6% HP. So that's pretty good. If there's a Goku's family category enemy whose name includes Gohan Kid at the start of character's attacking turn, activates the entrance animation. And Extreme Class Allies Key +3, attack plus 18% for the rest of battle. So if you're fighting a Kid Gohan, you are going to get Key 3, 18% attack. I mean, that's not make or break for me, to be honest with you. That's not too great. But his normal passive is 160 to attack and defense, plus an additional attack of 60%, and launches an additional attack that's a high chance of becoming a super when HP is 50 or more, so 50% chance, so he can double stack his supers. Then an additional attack of 100% when performing a super attack, so that just adds on to it. Key +2 up to 8, and reduces damage received by 5 up to 20. And defense +40 up to 160 with each super attack performed. So after 4 supers, which you could theoretically get in one turn, he can have 160% defense and 20% damage reduction for the rest of the battle and Key +8. Attacks effective against all types, and launches another additional attack as a high chance of becoming a super attack, starting from which the turn the character performs a 6th attack in battle. So once you get all of his passive fully activated, he'll have the 160 defense on top of his 160, plus he gets that additional 100% attack when supering, plus 60% additional attack when just being above 50% HP, and he gets 20% damage reduction, and you can get that all within 1 to 2 turns. So pretty good. His active skill can only be activated when there's a Goku's family category enemy or someone whose name includes Gohan, or can be activated from the start of the 6th turn once only. So it can happen on the 3rd turn when there's a Goku's family, or 6th turn at any given time. Greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage. I mean, it's not too special. His link skills are Saiyan Warrior Race, Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, Brutal Beatdown, Prepared for Battle, Destroyer of the Universe, and Fierce Battle. So again, I don't know if you guys have noticed there, he has Big Bad Bosses, 25% of stats, Thirst for Conquest, 15% to attack and defense, Prepare for Battle, 5%, Destroyer of the Universe, 25% to attack and 15% to defense. And with the way his stats look here, that shows you that they knew the way his link set was, plus his passive. They lowered his stats down a little bit to make it so he wasn't busted. This TURLES is actually really good on paper. In game, I have yet to try him out because he has not come out on global yet. Myself, I will be going relatively decent in on this TURLES because I actually prefer TURLES as a villain. One of my favorites. So I will be going pretty decent. Probably the tickets plus the discount multis because you know they're going to have them. But he fits some pretty good categories: low class warrior, movie bosses, pure saiyan, surfing conquerors, final trump cards, space traveling warriors, and planetary destruction. Alright, let's see. Anything else specific? He does have a super attack that can be farmed. Oh, by the way, his defense boost for each super attack performed is calculated separately for a total defense boost of 576. So, that's quite high. First partners are Almond, or it's Almond and Raisin. I always say Almond and Raisin. So it's Planetary Destruction, Key 3, 130, their leader skill. Raises defense for 1 turn on their super with a high chance of stealing super attacks. So, I mean, they stack their defense for 1 turn. Attacking defense 150, Planetary Destruction category allies, Key +1 and 30% to stats. Plus additional defense of 20%, chance of performing a critical hit for allies who also belong to the Space Traveling Warriors category. So, TURLES. So if you run them alongside TURLES, say he gets Key +1, attack +30%, defense +50%, and a 10% chance to crit, which since TURLES is Fizz, he doesn't have built-in crits at all. Or even really on his passive. Then, as the first, guards all attacks and reduces damage received by 20% as the first attack in a turn, plus an additional attack of 50% and launches additional super as a second or third attack in a turn, plus an additional attack defense 30% each time guard is activated up to 150. So you would theoretically want to run him slot 1, these two, for 5 hits, let their guard activate those 5 times, then swap them out to slot 2 or 3 so they can double super and raise their defense for 1 turn. I'm not really going to dig into their stats because these guys are side banner units, but they look pretty decent and they got some pretty solid links. Number 2 is the Days and Cacao Space Traveling Warriors Key 3, 130. Crusher Invasion. Raises attack for 1 turn, causes supreme damage with a high chance of stunning. So theirs is a little bit lackluster, to be honest, on their super attack. They're not as good as the prior unit. Key +2, 150 to stats, launches additional attacks with a high chance of becoming a super attack, and chance to perform a critical hit, and chance of evading enemies' attack, +10 per Space Traveling Warriors category ally attacking in the same turn, so most they can get is 20%. Plus an additional attack of 150, medium chance of performing a critical hit, and medium chance of evading enemies' attack as a second or third attacker in a turn. Plus 30% of stats with each super attack performed. So again, 5 supers, they get 150% stats, and they have a 30% chance of getting a crit and dodge in the second or third slot, plus the 20% they'd get from being with Space Traveling Warriors. So they're actually not terrible, I mean realistically, but added these two, I feel like these ones are the better because they have that support a little bit. And then there's 2 other units that I brought up earlier that are really nice that they're on this banner, which is the Yamcha. I actually only have him to 55% on my global since this is his first time coming back. He is Earthbred Fighters or Saiyan Saga category Key 3 plus 170 to stats. Also 30% across the board to Earthlings or Turtle School. I'm not going to go super in detail into this Yamcha. I'm going to leave his stats on screen a little bit while I chat about him, but he is actually a pretty solid unit. He's one of the better units in my opinion in the game. The way he is built, he is really, really good. But he does get an additional 30% attack and defense each attack performed up to 150 on top of his normal 150, plus his entrance animation on his own category, he gets an additional 150 on top of that. So he builds up pretty quick. And he actually has some decent stats across the board. The other one, Bardock. This is his first time back. I honestly don't remember too much about him. I think this Bardock is decent, but I don't remember too much about him. Goku's family of storied figures, Key 3, 170. Additional 30% stats for characters who belong to Pure Saiyans. So he has the lesser of the categories, he only has 3. Greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage to enemy. I'm actually going to read into the Bardock because I don't remember much about him. Activates entrance animation once only, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type of rainbow key. Attack plus 70% and foresees enemies super attack for 5 turns for the start of turn when there's an ally includes Goku on the team. Or when there's an enemy that includes Frieza. At start of character's attacking turn. Key plus 2, attack and defense 150, plus an additional 40% with each attack performed, super attack performed, up to 120. Attacks effective against all types with 1 or more rainbow key spheres obtained, plus an additional attack and defense of 50 with 2, and performs a critical hit with 3. So actually, he isn't terrible because he does build up relatively quick with his supers, but since he's tech, he's built more or less crits, which I don't understand why they put performs a crit with 3 or more because he's tech. He doesn't have additionals built in. He does have an active skill, which I forgot to mention the Yamcha does as well, which is actually pretty decent. Attacks guaranteed to hit for his, and all attacks become crits for the Bardock. I mean, they're both really good units. I mean, I wouldn't say really good. They're both good units, especially for players that don't have them. They run some decent teams that you could actually enjoy using. Are they meta capable right now with the new red zones? No, not by any means. The Yamcha might be the only one that actually is out of these two here. But my biggest thing that I'm excited for is this TURLES. When they announced him on JP and I saw some of the stuff he could do, I was like, okay, he's really, really decent. I like him. I want to get him. And now that I'm looking at it myself, and actually Greg Daw posted a guide to his best linking partners, and he links almost perfect with himself, which is really, really nice. So he links, give me 1 second, I'll actually show you. Alright, we're back here. So yeah, as you can see, he links really well with himself. This is from Greg Daw, by the way, on Twitter. He links really, really well with himself, as well as this other TURLES. He fits decently well with the Cooler, the Raditz, and his 2 buddies. Both fit 4 links, I'm sorry, they share with these two. The Vegeta, he shares 4 links, 4 links, 4. The LR TURLES team, which I actually have 100% as well, fits really well on his team, especially being that this is a support unit, this is a support unit. They'll actually run really well together. As you can see here, you could run him as the 3rd floater on the team until he can transform into this. And then once he's extremely awakened, I'm sorry, not extremely awakened, boosted, he actually links almost perfect with himself. I don't think he links at this state because they technically are the same name TURLES. This one's TURLES boosted, so it's slightly different. These two do not link, this TURLES and this TURLES, but once he does boost, they do. But he will be giving him support no matter where he is on the rotation. But that's all I gotta say for it, guys. I feel like this is a worthwhile banner, especially if there's discounts. Do I recommend any free-to-play players or people that are saving up for the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, for the Tanabata to summon? No. Or for Heroes, I don't recommend summoning because that comes out in about less than a month and a half. But if you like TURLES or have any interest in summoning for TURLES, I do recommend doing the discounts if they have them. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the channel and what you've seen, and I will see you guys next time for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. See you guys then.